sure, do you want this up here right now?
Not that one, the first slide. The first slide.
So this song should. Anything else? Is it recording now? Okay, here we go.
Okay, today, guys, we're going to learn about the skeleton system. Okay, so when you guys are born, how many bones do you think you're born with? Carson?
Around 200 bones.
Around 200? Yep, it's a little higher than that. Kaylee?
206.
206? Close. It's even higher. Callie?
210.
210? Not yet. I'll have one more person guess. Eli?
207.
207? Not that much. There's
200.
a little more. There's a little more. Okay, it's 274. So when you guys are born, you have 274 bones in your body. But as you age, you lose some of these bones. So actually right now, yes, Connor?
When you're a baby, when you're born, you have like 2 parts.
I think so, yeah.
And then when you get older, they'll start connecting.
That's part of the skeleton system too. So when you guys, right now, you have about 206 bones in your body. Now, we're not going to learn all of that today, okay? But the skeleton system is very important. Yes, Arya?
Know what Connor said? I think, I think he is right. That's probably why a baby has a soft spot.
Yes, that's true, yeah. Just wait, Eli. So, when you guys are born, 206 bones. Now, the bones in your body, if we didn't have bones, you know what we'd be? We'd be blobs. So
like snakes.
Exactly. We would, well, snakes have bones too.
Worms?
But we would literally just be blobs on the floor because your bones, now if you can feel your bones all over you, right? Your bones are what your ligaments attach to. And your muscle you have, right? The big muscles you guys have, they attach to your bones too. So without our bones, we wouldn't be able to move. You guys wouldn't be able to run and jump during recess or any of that. So they're very important. So we're going to watch the skeleton dance. Is that volume? Yeah, it's on.
The thigh bone's connected to the hip bone. The hip bone's connected to the backbone. The backbone's connected to the neck bone. Doing skeleton dance. Shake your hands to the left. Shake your hands to the right. Put your hands in the air. Put your hands out of sight. Shake your hands to the left. Shake your hands to the right. Put your hands in the air. Wiggle, 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 dancing bones, dancing bones, doing the skeleton dance.
I like that animation.
To no one.
Yeah.
To Sesame Street.
Yes.
Okay, you guys. So that's your skeleton. But we're not going to do that. But so when we look at the skeleton, first bone I'm going to talk about today is the skull. So everyone, feel your head. And I think Connor was talking about this, how when you're a baby, your skull comes together and stuff. Your skull is very hard. So when somebody actually hurts their head and injures their head, their skull, it takes a lot of pressure because your skull needs to protect what's up here? Your brain. So that's why it needs to be so thick. It protects your brain and all the different muscles that go down through your neck. The cranium is actually, another word for the skull is the cranium, but we're going to remember just the skull for today. So the actual skull is made up of 22 bones, and they also protect your face. Do you right here feel your cheekbones? So when someone's like, "Oh my word, she has great cheekbones," it's because she has cheekbones right here. So you can also feel. So this is your skull. The skull. The next bone we're going to talk about. Everyone feel right here. This is your collarbone. So your yes, Ari.
My dad broke his collarbone.
Yep, this is exactly.
Half of his collarbone is missing.
Is it really? Yes, Silas.
Know how Connor said that when you're little, your skull isn't that hard and hard. My mom told me when you're just born, your skull's made out of cartilage.
Yes.
Cartilage is not very strong.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna move on to the collarbone. If you have a question about the collarbone, keep your hand up. Okay, Caleb.
My dad broke his too.
He broke his too. Does anybody have a question about the collarbone? Eli.
It's not a question, but is your nose cartilage?
Is your nose cartilage? Yes.
Yeah. Your ears?
Mm-hmm. That's why when you look, guys, wait. That's why when you look at the skull, you don't see your eyes. And you don't see the nose, because that's cartilage, and cartilage will deteriorate and when you pass away. But your teeth, that's technically bone too, and all of your skull will stay because it's bone. Okay. Yes.
What does the collarbone protect?
The collarbone, it actually it provides movement. It's more for movement in your arms, and it's located at the top of your rib cage. So your ribs are here. It's located right at the top there. And it connects to the shoulder joint. So everyone move your shoulder. Go like this. Go like this. It's connected to this joint in your shoulder. Yes, Connor?
Do you really need your collarbone?
Yes, you do. Because if you guys didn't have your collarbone, you wouldn't be able to move this shoulder because it helps right here, okay? So when they're, was it your dad and your mom?
My dad.
When their dads broke their collarbone, they couldn't move their arm. They had to keep it in a cast, right? Because this was broken. So you definitely do need your collarbone. So what's this, guys? Skull. And this right here? Collarbone. Right. Yes, Gabby.
Does your collarbone help move your neck too?
I don't think it helps move your neck. Your neck is more connected to your vertebrae, which we're going to learn that next. But your collarbone is more for your shoulder, okay? That's what we're going to learn. Okay, this is our next one. This is the vertebrae. So everyone, kneel over and feel this little thing right in the back of your
spine.
That's the same word for it, your spine, your vertebrae. So what the vertebrae does for you, your vertebrae, it's also called the backbone. It's a series of bones and bone cartilage that's connected from your skull to your pelvis. So, and there are 3 sections. There's 3 sections. Yes, Gabby? Is it like a kite string? It's a little thicker than a kite string, I would say. But maybe it looks like that. Is that what you're saying? It looks like that? Maybe. So, your backbone or your vertebrae, it is made up of 3 parts, and it also protects your spinal cord. So, the spinal cord that is connected in your brain, that's protected by your skull, runs through your body, and that's how you guys have feelings. So, when you touch something hot, that's a nerve. That's your spinal cord is connected all the way through. Well, your vertebrae protects the spinal cord. Okay? Yes.
I learned that because on my electronic device, there's an app called, I think it was learning about the human body, and there's a whole bunch of bones, and there's puzzles like where they go.
Mm-hmm.
And like the nerves, when you can press a mosquito button, and when the mosquito bites you, then you can see it sending a message to the brain, and it'll say ow.
Well, that's cool. Okay, does anybody have a question about vertebrae? Question?
Does the
I think it's inside there, yes. It doesn't wrap around your vertebrae, but it's inside. Like your vertebrae protects it, okay? So when somebody's spinal cord is like snapped or something, that's why they lose feeling. That's why it's so important to have your vertebrae. But your vertebrae also helps with the rest of the structure of your back. So when you bend over, that's all your vertebrae. When you bend this way, when you twist, your vertebrae helps with all of that. That's why people have major back issues. It's because something's messed up in their vertebrae. They might have it twisted or something like that. Yes?
Yeah, because my grandma, she would used to lift people up, and she broke her back, so she always was down like this.
Right. So that was her vertebrae that was actually broken. Yes.
When you break your vertebrae and you're not at the doctor's right in enough time, will you die?
I'm sure in extreme cases you might. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know all of that. Does anybody have a question about vertebrae? A vertebrae? Yes, Hannah.
How come some people like me have like different vertebrae than other people?
What do you mean you have a different vertebrae? Like it's shaped differently?
No, mine is like curved instead of straight.
See, that's another thing. Some people,
Scoliosis.
right, people can be born with conditions where their vertebrae is a little bit crooked or curved or something, and sometimes it can cause problems. But I don't know, it just depends on the case. So, yes, Kelly.
Like, is it bendy or something? Because how is that bone? What if it's straight? You just have to stand up on it.
Well, it's the same thing with like your fingers. Your fingers can bend, right? Everyone bends your fingers. Your fingers have bones, but the joints inside your bones are what help you bend it. So like with your knee too, that's why people can have major knee issues, because their joints and their ligaments. Ligaments are another part of that. So that's a good question. Yes, bro.
But if you can bend your finger like that, why can't you bend it like that?
Good question. I'm not sure. I think it's just because that's the way your bone is made. Your fingers are made to bend this way.
Tyler.
Some people are double jointed,
Yeah.
so that's why it's all about. That's more with your joints, Brock. Okay. Any more? I'll take 2 more questions. Yes, Arya.
Mine wasn't a question, but my mom's boyfriend, he broke his back in 4 different places.
See, that's how you can break your back. He probably broke 3 of the major sections. Okay, I'll take 1 more question. Yes, Gabby.
What are those like little things on the back of it?
The little things, those are part of your vertebrae. So I'm not sure, there's probably some technical names for it, but for right now we're just going to remember the vertebrae as a whole, okay?
Or a spine.
Yes, but for now we'll remember vertebrae. Okay, so what is this? Skull, and then we have what? This collarbone, and then we have our vertebrae. Okay, the next bone. We're going to talk about our ribs. Okay, guys, so you guys know what your ribs are, right? Everyone feel your ribs. Feel your ribs? Now, these ribs are very important. Your ribs are actually curved. So they curve around right here, right underneath. If you breathe in, you can feel them right there. See? Your ribs protect your lungs, which are right here too. Your ribs protect your lungs, okay? And guess how many, okay, there are 12 pairs of ribs. So if there's 12 pairs, how many are in 2 pairs?
24.
24. So you have 24 ribs in total. That's why when somebody says, I broke like 3 ribs, that means that they broke 3 ribs because they have 24 altogether. Yes?
Why is there like gooey stuff?
Okay, that's just,
That's
like,
to hold it together.
yeah, those are just ligaments and stuff, but we're not going to worry about that for now. It's just the bone that we're talking about. Yes, Jasmine?
When you breathe, your ribs expand.
Yes, that's part of your diaphragm actually, but that is your respiratory system. So, so your ribs are very important because they also protect your other, yes, they protect all the major organs because your major organs are right here in your center. And that's why it's very important to have your ribs. There's also 2 types. There's a true rib and a false rib. So we have true ribs and false ribs. You don't have to remember that, but that's important. So your true ribs are attached to the sternum, and the sternum's right here, guys. They're attached to the sternum, and they protect the major organs like your heart, your lungs, and your kidneys, okay? So the true ribs are attached to your sternum, and the false ribs are aid in the expansion of your lungs. So you know how you were talking about your ribs, you can feel them when you expand your lungs? Those are your false ribs. So, yes, Connor?
Is your spine connected to your ribs?
Your spine, your ribs do come into the back. That's why you can feel them in the back too. They go all the way back to your spine. That's why the vertebrae is very important. It connects everything together in your back. Yes, Callie?
I've seen an x-ray of ribs before because my grandma, she used to have lung cancer, but she doesn't anymore. And we saw the x-ray of her ribs, and it was really weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. Okay, I'm going to take one more question. Yes, Molly?
Oh, this is like a vertebrae, the spine one. But can you be born with two spines?
2 spines? I don't think so. I think everyone's just born with 1 vertebrae. If they are, I'm sure they would, but I've never heard of that, honestly. Okay, so let's look. What is this? Skull, and then here. Collarbone, and then here. And then here. Ribs. How many ribs do we have? 24. Very good. Okay, our next one is our hip bone, okay? Another word for this is connected to the end. It's at the end of your body, it's your hip bone. Another word for this is pelvis, but you guys are going to remember hip bone for today, okay? So it's circular. Do you see how it's kind of circular? These kind of look like 2 ears, don't they? Yeah.
2 ears. It looks like a butterfly.
That is what your hip bone looks like, okay?
Why does it look like a butterfly?
I don't know, that's how God made it. What did you say? Brooke.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. Gabby.
Why are the holes full?
The old holes. Okay, so this is what's part of your pelvis, or your hip bone. Your hip bone holds some of your major organs. It holds your intestines and your bladder.
How about your kidney?
It doesn't hold your kidney because your kidney's up here. That's what your ribs protect your kidney. So that's what that's for. It holds all of these systems down here, okay? So, what's here?
Spine,
Skull, collarbone,
vertebrae, ribs, hip bone.
Okay, yes.
Femur. It's a female.
Okay, I've heard that before. I don't know if it's true though. I have heard that. I think it is true though. Okay, guys. So this is a very important bone. This is your femur, so it's right here. Can everyone feel that? Your femur is right here. And your femur is the longest bone in your body, okay? So the femur is the longest bone. Okay, guys.
I thought your leg bone is.
That is your leg bone, is your femur. So we're going to learn this word today, okay? This is your thigh bone, but we're going to learn femur, okay? This is the longest bone in your body, and it supports your all your weight. So if you think about the longest and the biggest bone in your body, it's your femurs, because they're supporting you. They're helping you stand up right now. Your femur also helps move your leg. So you guys move your leg and stuff. That's why, okay, did you guys know that your major artery, everyone look up here, your major artery, the biggest artery in your body, Eli, the biggest artery in your body is in your femur. That's why when somebody breaks their femur, it's really bad because they have such major arteries here. Okay? Yes, Kevin?
Why does it look like the backbone is like the longest one in the body?
It does look like the backbone's the longest, but I think it's because, let's see if I can go back. Your backbone is more curved, so it looks longer, but your femur bone is the biggest one, okay? Because this is going to be bigger than this. If you feel it here, it is bigger than here, okay? Just remember that your femur is your biggest one. Yes, Connor.
You know on the underneath femur, there's like the leg still, but there's like a hole right through there and then another part of the bone.
Where?
He means right, like, yeah. This, there's like a
Oh,
thing
right.
here and then a space.
That can be confusing. That's where your tibia is and your other bone. We're not going to learn that today. But that is where ligaments go and joints, not joints, and muscle as well. It looks like it's like bad, but this is, the skeleton is your body without all of your other inside stuff, okay? So when you have, you know when somebody dies and they just have their skeleton left, all of the other stuff that fills that in is gone. Because your skeleton is made of bone, so that's what remains, okay? Yes.
Have you, like, there's a tailbone too?
That's at the end of your vertebrae.
Right here.
Yes.
Isn't that how dinosaurs work too? Because that's why, that's how they have them with the bones in the museums.
Right, that's why we see like fossils and stuff like that. That's their bones. Yep. And one more question.
Wouldn't the one on the bottom be like longer if it?
That one?
Yeah.
The femur bone is longer though. The femur is much bigger than these bones. So that's why when somebody has a bigger, you guys have bigger thighs than you have here, because this one is your bigger one. So we're going to remember that femur is the biggest. Okay, yes, Brooke.
How do you know if skeletons are boys or girls?
You really can't.
Yeah, you can actually.
But the pelvis in a boy and a girl are usually differently shaped. A woman's is more rounder and stuff. But we usually, it's hard to do. You can just make it up usually. Okay, so, I don't know. Okay, so right here, what is this? What's this? One more. This is our kneecap, okay? So everyone take your kneecap. Everyone straighten out your leg, and you can move it around, okay? See, that's your kneecap. Everyone, quiet down. Guys, okay, your kneecap, another word for your kneecap is the patella, but today we're just going to learn the kneecap, okay? So the kneecap actually is kind of like a triangle. That's what it kind of looks like. So you can remember that, okay? And it floats. It glides around the knee joint, okay? So the patella actually is why your knee can move so fluidly, okay? Your knee moves all over, and some people actually, see how you can move it?
Move my kneecap.
It helps for the maximum movement or the most movement of the tendon that extends to the leg. So when your kneecap helps for your whole knee to move and do what it does. So when somebody has their kneecap come out of joint, it actually will go completely like sideways to here. And so then they just flip it back in. That's because it's not connected. See, as you can see here, everyone quiet down. You can see it's not connected to the bone. It just glides, okay?
How does it glide though?
It's connected through like ligaments and stuff, but it's not connected to an actual bone. It's its own bone by itself. Yes, Callie?
My mom got her knee replaced, and it's like that they turned it into metal or something.
Really?
Metal.
Okay, I'll take. Yes, Really? Yeah, I think I remember that. Okay, I'll take 2 more questions. Does anybody have questions? Gabby. Okay, Hannah.
Don't we have one like here? I think.
We don't have a kneecap. I don't think there's no bone in our body that's like a kneecap, but we do have a shoulder blade. That's your scapula. It's shaped like a triangle, but that's different. This kneecap, they're both shaped like a triangle, but the shoulder blade's completely different than that. Yes, Kayla?
Why do people have double jointed like fingers and stuff?
Double jointed? I'm not sure how that works. I think, I don't really know. I don't know if there's actually 2 joints or anything. Just sometimes people can move their body differently than others. Yeah.
How do you make that?
That's part of your senses. That's through like your brain and your senses and through your nervous system. That's how, that's the way that happens. Yes, one more question.
This one might sound a little bit weird, but I can actually shake my eyes.
You can. Oh, wow. Okay, does anybody have anything to do with bones? Bones, a question. Yes, Gabby. It's okay. Bro.
So like if you're talking about people, if they get their what was it called in your back? That
Your
like,
vertebrae.
Yeah, the vertebrae. If you like take that out and like if someone hits you, would you be able to feel that?
Would you be able to feel that? Well, if their spinal cord wasn't like wasn't cut or damaged, they probably would. But without your vertebrae, I don't think that it's possible to even be able to stand up, honestly. Okay, Eli.
Are eyes and veins cartilage?
Veins are different than cartilage. Veins go with your heart. Those carry blood. But eyes are, I think eyes are cartilage, yes. Okay, anything to do with the skeletal system? Yes, Gabby.
Is it hard to stand up? Like, will you need a brace or something if something happens to your kneecap? That happened to my dad, but I don't know why.
Okay, with your kneecap, people who get injured in their knee, it's usually their ligaments. Like I tore my ACL and my MCL and all of that stuff, and I had to be on crutches for like 2 months or something.
My dad has a brace because he did something.
So that's probably the kneecap. He probably broke it or it got misplaced or something. I don't know. It just depends. But sometimes when people are playing sports, like I saw a girl one time, she was cheerleading, and her foot just like, she was standing on one foot and it just went like that, and her kneecap went sideways because it's floating around your knee. So that's why that happens. Okay, so we're going to review. Sorry, one more questions. You have to ask me later. Okay, we're going to review. So, what is this?
Skull.
And then what is this?
Collarbone. Vertebrae. Ribs. Hip bone. Kneecap.
Nope, this bone.
Femur. Kneecap.
Okay, so everyone quietly go sit at your desk. I don't know, those are shorts. Can you go sit down?
I don't know.
No, I think they're shorts. Okay, does everyone have a sheet of paper? No, you can sit down then if your hands are down.
Thank you.
Yes. You can give her one, yeah. Does everyone have one? Caleb, do you have one? Caleb, and okay, so thank you. If you're confused at where it's pointing, tell me. We are going to fill this out real quick. If you have a question, ask me, because this is not like your quiz or anything. So if you're confused at like a minute or something like that. Yes. What? Yes. That one was there should be 7 legs on them. there's only 7, there should be only 7 lines that stick out far enough for you to write down something.
Was that your head?
Usually not. Sometimes, because I don't have feeling in like one of those parts of my life, but sometimes you don't. Okay, so now that you've gotten to work with your elbow partner, your horizontal elbow partner, please. With the and then you guys do talk to anybody. Okay.
It's right there.
No, there should only be 7. So count it out. Make sure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You did it. 1, 2. So you're done. Oh, come on back. What?
That's just that's for collarbone. That's the ribs, that's the vertebrae, that's the hips, that's the femur, that's the that's the leg.
This one is okay for you to work together. Yeah? Got it all. Does anybody not have blank tests? Yes. Can you work You can write out here.
Vertebrae. This one's ribs. I'll go back. Don't do that.